I've got my tea, got my glasses, I've got my phone. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Are you good? If we wouldn't have been silenced for playing music without having the rights to do so, it'd probably be Supertramp. Oh no, it's raining again. And we're just in the middle of the lull of the great big rain front that's coming through here in Melbourne at the moment. So I'm hoping it holds off and the wind and everything holds off until after the show, so that you can't hear it all, because it was pretty full on this morning. So hopefully you're all dry, maybe with a jet ski ready to go up and down the street, or a kayak or two. I've got a couple of kayaks or two at the back. We could try it to the inlet down to Mordialloc if it keeps up. No. Good afternoon, Maya. Good afternoon to you. Hello, Sue. Diane, good afternoon. Oh, I know. They literally, well, not the bottom two. We've sort of held off talking about the bottom two here, I think. But the top ones arrived about an hour ago. And luckily, we were prepped, ready to go. So I could just quickly pop them up. There's another 4 boxes out there, and we'll have a chat about those, and they're not going to wait till next week. I'll have a chat to you about those. Good afternoon, Rhonda. Good afternoon, Nancy. Yeah, my feet are still dry, but only because I've got a good pair of Merry People gumboots that I love, that I wear a lot. Good evening, Violet, to you. Good afternoon from Australia. Good evening to you in New York. Good afternoon, Bronwyn and Francis. Elizabeth, it's 4 a.m. Thank heavens for the rest of the world. You don't sleep very well, do you, my friend? No. And Jonathan's on South African time at the moment, so he's all over the shop as well. Mel, good afternoon to you. Sue, Cecily, hello. Hello, Cheryl. Christine, good afternoon. Yes, everybody, says Sue. Absolutely. Stay dry. You can say that, can't you? But for some of us, it will mean sandbanking probably later tonight. Not me, but later tonight. Denise, hello. And Sue Broadway. Sue, what's it like down your way? Did you cop the front as well? I was watching the Bureau of Meteorology, the BOM app. It's quite amazing. I couldn't see the bay last night. It was gone. You couldn't see it. Raining in Calista, according to Errol. I'm not surprised. I've got your order ready for you, by the way. Denise, good afternoon. Denise, I found you... Sorry, everyone. Denise, I found you a bit. I've got a bit. And I shall pop that in the mail with your bit of purple ombre as per Quilter's Life from yesterday. Done. Carol, is it raining up your way? You're on the high country, aren't you? You'll be all right. Hello, Pauline. Karen, good afternoon. Oh, the Karen's is flooding all around her at the moment. Ducks. Elizabeth, oh, see, this is what we get with our UK. Elizabeth, we have to be so good because Natasha at the moment, because she's moved out to Cornwall, is filming some of her shows. So Elizabeth and John and the likes of I get on, and we can say what we like because they're not there. It's pre-recorded. We can get away with murder. I have to remember to do that again. Yes, Pims would be nice, or a nice dry G&T. Oh, Joe's making Christmas cards today. Awesome. Good afternoon, Lynn. Oh, you're all here. Jenny Peach, hello. How are you? Oh, Jen, why did you pop up in my... You popped up in my vision today. I can't remember. Let me think about it. I've got to think about it. Maria, good afternoon. Now, Maria, I'm not sure if you've watched before live, and if you haven't, welcome to Chandler's Cottage. Kathy, hi. Yeah, it's great. It is a great day for sewing. Yes, Fiona, you are, based on my knowledge of your shifts at the moment, you are on the way to work. Deb Wilkie's here. Yvonne Collinson's here. Yeah, it's eased off, but I believe this is kind of the... I'm the song. You see what I've done today? You know how I'm a big advocate about don't clash with the stash? Like Emma and I always try and Emma and I try and make sure that what we wear, we don't wear purple if the stand is orange, kind of thing. But I picked up this jacket while op shopping out with Margaret, and I've just gone, today we're just going to blend. We'll just blend with the set. Look at that. It's disgusting. But it was a bit of fun. I thought for spring, I was thinking springtime, florals. I had a jacket like this back in the late 90s, corporate life. wore it to death. Top tip, don't have a hot shower half an hour before a show and then put on a silk line jacket. Not a good idea. I'll be fanning myself in a minute. Glenda, it'd be very wet where you are. I won't tell everyone where you all are. Liz, I'm not surprised it's soggy. Jeanette's making embellishment for her applique sampler borders. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Marie Noel's in the building. Oh, thanks, Elizabeth. Oh, thanks. Well, we're doing a block out of it today. We've got lots to get through. We are doing a block out of it today, and I'm starting to ramp up because Natasha's doing the Japanese Baltimore at the moment, and she's got the quilt, but I'm thinking we're going to do it here, and I'm going to make it again. Hopefully, if my hands are good, over the Christmas break, I'll get stuck in again with all the new techniques that we've learnt since the last time we made it, and that as well will come into play today when we do the chrysanthemum block. So we'll get to that in a tick. Now, before we do that, order of play, housekeeping. I don't think there's that much housekeeping. If you missed yesterday's, I'll just quickly show you because I said we've got a lot to get through today. There's the phone from someone that doesn't know we're live on Facebook at the moment, so I will get to that and answer it later on. These, as I said, have just come in. I've done that so that I can do this for you. So we'll lay these out. Have a look at that. Just absolutely beautiful. So these are Robert Kaufman's Midnight Nectar, this is called. How appropriate. This is as blingy as you get. This is it, the whole thing. And I'm sort of, you know what I'm like. I critique these like a designer. Well, because I kind of try and be one every now and then. And I'm sounding a little bit lack of confidence because I have epically failed at trying to recolor gum leaves at the moment. I've had to go back to the team and go, I don't understand. And I think someone did something very clever a long time ago with my gum leaves. And now and now I can't change them the way I want to. Anyway, these, they're quite amazing. I want to show you the selvage just because it kind of floats my boat. Just a little bit. Is that the picture I want? No, it's not this one. The little dots along here. So there's only 4 colours in these, 4 screens in these with the metallic. And this one here is dark blue. So when you look at it though, and it's all of the screens are layered up together, it almost feels like it goes to black. So you could put this beautiful colour, this sort of periwinkle cornflower blue, with black, and it's going to work, and it's equally going to work because there is so much gold on it. So when you get to prints like this, a little bit like the Robert Kaufman Fusions, you can use the gold, if you like, as the contrast element to anything else. The other thing about these is because of this print, I mean, look, the fussy cutting that can go on here for hexagons, for octagons, for anything. These shapes are just beautiful. We are about to attack with you the Christmas, Celtic Christmas medallion over the next couple of weeks, and I can see this fussy cut for popping in there. I've already chosen my fabrics for it. Let's think about that. Now, if I was buying this, I would want a pre-cut pack. I'd want fat quarters so I could do with it what I wanted when I wanted to. Steve's back in this weekend, I'm hoping, and if not, I'll be doing them. So I will do fat quarter packs of these. I just haven't, literally, they just arrived with my FedEx man this morning. And it's not what I expected. What I expected was the lot we're going to talk about on the weekend. Not this. So this was a very pleasant surprise. They got through customs clearance a lot quicker than I thought. Look at that. Most beautiful, beautiful fuchsia pink. Just lovely. That is going to go with, yeah, that might stay out. We're going to have a chat about that with a few other things. But that's just yum. I don't even know what we've had in this sort of colour for a while. It's sort of, I don't know, what have we had? Probably my only thing that comes to mind are my out of print lilac flowering gums that are sort of along that line. Anyway, that's rather yummy. And then, I know who you are. I know who the purple people are, and that's the purple. I'm not even sure that you're getting a good look at that. Let me just pop these to the side. Now there's purple and purple. Okay, there's lots, well there's purple, purple and purple. There's lots of different types of purple. This is this purple. Whoop, wrong way. So this this will go with my purple flowering gum. This will go with Robert Kaufman Metallic Fusions. Now will it go with, yeah, just. See, I'm just trying to give you an idea of what it's like, but it's, if you've got my flowering gum, if you've got purple Robert Kaufman, what's it called? It's amethyst. It will all go with that. And again, you can see, look at these motifs on here. It's got that little bit of William Morris, it's got that little bit of Indian, it's got there's a lot in there, isn't there? I feel like I'm looking at them at the first time. Because we've had the black and the cream here. Yeah, we've had the black and the cream here for a while, but we haven't focused on them because I was waiting for the others to come in. This does go with ivory flowering gum, and it's, look, see, it goes down into this darker grey cream in here. That does go, definitely. And there's the black. Now with that black, what I want you to, regal is a really good word, Diane. Bernadette, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Oh yeah, fussy cutting, absolutely. See, now, what has happened here, and I do love it when this happens. Can you see how there are two different golds in here? So they've done a really clever little thing. They have coloured underneath and then with a cream or something, and then they've laid it up over the top. I can't work it out from the selvage how they've managed to do it. But sometimes what does happen, if they print the gold first and then lay the black over the top, we get this coppery effect. And I think I've shown that to you before when we've had some, or maybe the girls on A Quilter's Life, some of our strike-offs that come through, they lay the gold down first because they will do it on the end of a run for other fabrics. So you can imagine you've done a big run under the Australian sun, and the last thing you print is gold, and the gold screen's already lined up, so they'll lay the gold down for a sample and then put the colours over the top, and then my brain has to ignore the coppery colour of the gold when we actually look at the other colours in the print. I'm not sure how they've done it, but I love it because it's sort of, it's got this yellow gold and then a copper gold in it, like an old copper gold in it. It's gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, so they're in. So there are 5 different colours. I have popped them under today's banner, which should be up. Again, I didn't check, I was running around, but there's today's banner up, and if not, it's show 73 like we talked about yesterday with no space in the middle, and you can pop show 73 into the search window. If you're watching it a little bit later when we had the banner up, they will still be up there. And we will load today's show up onto YouTube and also onto A Quilter's Life because it's one of our special shows with one of the blocks. Before we get to the block, I need to talk about something else, because on the weekend I'm going to be quilting the latest version of the Twisted Log Cabin Wreath, and I was going to pop this up on the stand to sort of conceal the Baltimore, and then I remembered what Facebook does. They take the still from the start or the end of the show, and I wanted it to look like a Baltimore one, so I didn't put it up. Now, this is, who said good afternoon? Someone said good afternoon. Good afternoon, Catherine. Hand stitching my geisha blocks. Lovely. Oh, Elizabeth, you probably, yeah, look. Love a bit of purple for Christmas. You're right. particularly with red. I actually had one of these in purple and red once upon a time. Don't know where it is now. Don't know. So that was the original one that we showed you. And then, do you remember, Emma and I started the next one, and the top's done, so I'm up to quilting it. So I just wanted to talk to you about quilting designs. The pattern's all done. It's just waiting for a big fat photo on the front. And this is our new version. So this has got the multi red flowering gum, and just a lovely, I think it was it's a Shades of a Season, I think. Something Bounty, Harvest Bounty, I don't know, one of those. From Robert Kaufman with a speckle green. So I went apple green. So I really wanted it kind of fresh. That's not very scented, but you'll get the idea if I just pop that there for you. You can see it. Oh, and it's crooked. Sorry about that, folks. Let's pop it up a bit. So that is the new one. Now, what I want to do with this though, I do want to quilt it so it's a little bit Christmassy, even though I'm in here. To anyone else that doesn't know that it's a flowering gum and that it's an Australian flower, it's just a floral. Hello, Chris. It's just a floral. Oh, Di, I love you too. It's just a floral. It's a metallic floral. Let's just look at it like that. When we promote this overseas, and particularly in America, it's a metallic floral. It's not an Aussie one. So I still want to quilt this a bit Christmassy, and I want to do it with holly leaves. And they'll be very, very subtle. The other one's just all stippled. It's got some little flowers in it, but nothing really. So I want some holly happening. I may even do holly and gum leaves. I don't know. But I thought I would show you just quickly. I think we did it a long time ago. Just quickly how I draw up my holly. I scavenged this from someone's garden, and it's actually research as well for garnishes for the soiree, because I wanted to see how far ahead I could pick it in preparation for tying it to our cake stands for the soiree, which is only 4.5 weeks away. Not panicking at all. Now, when you look at a holly leaf, oh, there we go. Rule of thumb, there's at least 2 or 3 little points, or 4 points on each side. That's not a really good example. Let's go back here. So you can see you've got these little pointy bits on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to create these little scalloped curves, and most holly leaves have kind of I'm bringing in wildlife with my holly. Slight curve, maybe down the middle. So I'm going to work with a curve because of the way I want to sit them on my quilt, and also I've got a lot of curves going on my quilt because of the circular design. So back to the normal Leesa Chandler in the kitchen, in the pantry. No way. Sorry, hold the phone. Hello, Patty from Atlanta. Hello. Thank you for joining us. It's lovely to see you. Ruthie's here from, hey Ruth, did you send all of this water over this way from WA? We'll need to talk. Thanks, Maggie. Picked it up at Vinnie's. I mean, I don't know if I would have paid full price for it, but I had to have it on impulse buy. It had to happen. Good afternoon, Louise. No golf today, I'm assuming. Varsha, good afternoon to you. But Patty, welcome for the first time to Chandler's Cottage. All right, so let's do this. Now, you know I love getting everything out of the cupboard. I've got my paper ready. Let's go to the overhead and let's have a look at making up holly. We did it a while ago, didn't we? Maybe back at the warehouse. So I want my holly leaves to have a slight curve on them. So I've gone for a bigger plate to start with. Now, Patty, what happens is the girls all know that Rob knows when my hubby knows when I've been designing, because when he stacks the dishwasher, the plates have all got texture on them. So let's say about that. How big is that? So this would be the length of my leaf and the stem. So it's about 5 inches. And the thing is, once I've done one, I'll be able to cut it out, I'll be able to flip it and mess with it. So the other thing is too, is that we talked about it having 2 or 3 little scallops down each side, and this is where you go for a smaller curve. Now I can use a teacup, and that's not going to give me enough. I've gone for the shot glass, and that is, or maybe a sherry glass, that's given me a smaller circle, therefore a tighter curve. So I can join up those points like that. We'll go the other way on this side. Now you might think, I can't do that. You're going to find, I know you're going to find a heap of stuff in your stash that you will have holly leaves on, that you can copy, that you can trace off, that you can blow up, it's probably not the right term, increase in size on a photocopier, on a scanner. You're going to have that technology, and you're going to have the stuff. It's going to be the serviettes left from last year. It's going to be wrapping paper. It's going to be Christmas cards that you've collected. It's going to be rubber stamps. There will be something. And if all else fails, go to the internet. But if you want to have a go at doing your own, just for the fun of saying you created it, this is how I do it. So I've used the smaller glass for these tighter ones here. Then I've gone to my teacup for these bigger curves, because if I pop my shot glass in there, she's too small. So pop that there like that, and I can use either. Let's use the little one up here because it's only a little gap, and then we'll go back there. We go. One holly leaf. I'm a little bit flat here. I could probably play with this a bit, but let's just take that down a little bit further, and then I've got my leaf shape ready to go. All right, and then of course, if you want to add in circles, you know I love to buy those templates at the newsagent, or the stencils that the kids have for school with all the different size circles on them. That's probably going to be the best thing. If you've got small cotton spools, Gutermann ones or something, they're going to be great as well. A penny, a coin, a dime. So I'm trying to be good. No, that's about as far as I can go. Or a 5-cent piece. That's going to be the best thing to get your berry size. So if we have a look at this now in terms of the size on my quilt, if I want these up in the corners, who else is here? Ah, Diana, you do remember that show. Hello, Sue. How are things in California today? Are you good? Good. I hope so. Jackie, welcome to Chandler's Cottage. Susan Howard, how are you? Lovely to see you here. All right, so if you have a look, it's probably a little big. So all I will do with that is I'll just shrink it down on my copier or something. Or, you know, if you don't have a copier, just come in and just draw 1/4 of an inch inside to drop that down. And I can have a couple of those out on each corner on here. The way to transfer them onto the quilt, though, if you want to sort of do smaller ones and have them all over the place, perhaps in between your stippling, you can draw them all on, but there's a little trick that Emma and I use that we love. And thank you to our American quilting friends for discovering the benefits of freezer paper. So, let's take a bit off here. This is towards the end of this roll, so that the sharp bit is not that great. What I love to do is I'm going to draw a slightly smaller one for this purpose. I draw onto freezer paper because, as we all know, with a dry iron, it will temporarily adhere to our fabric. So instead of going round and laboriously drawing them all on where I want them to go, when I've quilted this, I might film a little bit for you and just pop it up. Or we can do it when I see you with something else, but because I've got to get this quilted this weekend. I've got people already waiting for the kit, so it's got to be done. Now, instead of drawing them all onto the quilt, what I like to do is just put a pin with a different colour on it or a little bit of string on it. So when I go through and I put all of my safety pins in, so that I went together with my sandwich, with my backing and my batting like we've done recently. We did Winter Blooms and Bugs Life and all those, didn't we? We did, yes. So when that's all done, I'll actually go over the quilt and I'll decide where I want to add in my holly leaves. And as I said, I'll tie a little bit of string on or a little bit of paper around it if you're fortunate enough. I know you can get them in the States, fortunate enough to have different coloured safety pins or tags on them. Knitting, you can get them with knitting, can't you? You can get different ones that have got different little tags on them or markers. Anyway, I'll go around and I will pop on my quilt that one of those coloured pins that I want one here, that I want one here, that I want one here, and I want one here. And I'll just have the pin in there. I won't bother drawing them on because this is going to iron on. So as I'm free motion quilting, stippling over this, I'll get to one of these pins. I'll grab my freezer paper one and I'll iron it on with my dry iron, and then I will go around the outside of it with my darning foot. I'll peel it off and I'll keep going. Just saves so much time. So you might have 3 or 4 of these, but I find you can, with the dry iron, you can iron this on multiple times and you don't have to go through drawing on, and more importantly, you don't have to worry about ironing off or getting off your chalk afterwards. That works for so many different things. So if you've got a big quilt and you want it to almost look like it's been professionally quilted, and you want, you know, intermittent tossed butterflies or different shaped leaves or flowers, it's just a great way of doing that is before you start, stand back and work out exactly where you want those little features to go in between your stippling, and then you don't have to draw them all on. So just think about that, but I will get this one done over the weekend. Diane, what did you say, Diane? Oh, I try to draw my design on paper until my brain gets it. Not like to draw on my quilts. Yes, exactly. That's the other thing. If you're free, you know, you don't want to draw on something onto your quilt and it's not any good, and then you're stuck with it there until you get off the chalk, all that sort of stuff. So draw onto paper first what you want, then trace it onto your freezer paper. And of course you can flip your freezer paper or flip your design over so you've got mirror images. But yes, it's just a really good time saver to do that. So I will get started on this. I think I'm going to quilt it in the apple green. I haven't quite decided yet. I feel like I want to see my design show up a little bit on this corner. So maybe the palest of apple green is what I'm going to use. But stand by and I will have that for you to show you very, very soon. Okay, so that's on my to-do list. That's not on your to-do list, that's on mine. And then once it's done, I'll get the pattern finished with the photo. I'm using the red for the binding for it. And then those kits for those that are waiting will be ready to go, and I shall pop them up on the website for you. If you didn't see, I popped in yesterday from the cutting room. Very average, I realised afterwards. I do apologise, there wasn't much happening there at all, was there? No. So these are all on special, and we weren't, as I said yesterday, I'm not quite sure what happened here. I think Ode to Joy came in just, sorry, it just cracks me up, the jacket. Came in just a bit before this beautiful collection from Benetix, and so because of that, this sort of got lost a little bit. Now I've got a heap more out there that we need to bring in, and I've got more over that side. So these are all on special. I can pull them, I'll pull you a couple down and show you. I did promise yesterday that I would have a pre-cut pack done to go with some of these, particularly the Sally Kelly, and I'm very sorry that I don't. Again, I think next week's officially called pre-cut week. Steve's off, think he's back. The drowned rat is back a day early because of the weather, and he's away again next week. But we are going to attack all of the fat quarter pre-cut bundles next week as well, so I will get some done. Look, this is on special, okay? It's just beautiful, romantic, botanical. You know, I was sort of saying gardeny kind of cushions in a sunny corner. It's just beautiful, and it's got little friends from Benetex as well that just kind of give it that, you know, you've got a little coordinate. Ooh, I pulled this out too. This is Northcote Shimmer. Hey, I don't think I might put this under the banner, sorry, but if you put in the word bubblegum, that will come up. And then that's the medium one. They're absolutely gorgeous. And they need a home. Oh, what I didn't see yesterday was too, that was the little scroll that came with it. So I've popped that on special. I've only got a couple of meters of that left, but that's lovely. So that sort of just, you know, how I said yesterday, it just needs that little black coordinate. And this is W2. So that's the shadow play that goes beautifully with it if you want that full light contrast, and it picks up all the colours in the roses. All right, so they are all there for choosing. We will be filling orders on, what is today? Today's Thursday. Today's Thursday. Filling orders tomorrow. So and tonight. So combined orders. If you want to wait until we do, I think I'll be back Saturday morning. If you want to wait, if you want me to wait in case we can combine your shipping for you, then please put put it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll get your orders filled tomorrow and get them out the door. 'Cause it's getting a bit hectic out there as we get stuff ready for the soiree, which is 4 weeks, I know, but there's a lot of stuff going on. And as I mentioned yesterday, there's things that I'm doing that are not just soiree, they're for you, for Christmas, but I have to have them done before the soiree. So there's just stuff everywhere. Not everywhere, you know what I mean. That's a Sally Kelly that missed being on sale and on the radar. And this is what I mentioned yesterday. You know, if you want some solids to go with this, please just let me know. If you sort of want to balance it out with a metre of that on special with things that go with it. This is Northcote Colourworks 232. Gorgeous. That picks up that colour in there. So that beautiful sort of salmony, pinky apricot colour. And if you're more of a pink person, this is 282. That's really yummy with it too. And that just a shade darker than this beautiful fuchsia pink. So if you're after a sort of a more contemporary look, it's there. And we do have Northcote in white as well. If you can't find it, it'll be under white, just under Northcote white. Just, again, pop in the comments. I have learnt how to add to your order. Yes. So I'm doing that at the moment. For a lot of people with a lot of things. So we can always add something in for you. You know, most of the time, it doesn't work out any more expensive with postage either. So that's, you know, it's always a bit of a benefit. If you forget something, you know, like needles or a reel of thread or something like that, or you can't find something, it's easy to change for you. There's some more there. So the Eau de Joes are on special. There's a beautiful sage scroll, perfect for Christmas as well. So you'll see those. And then on this side, the one I can't say, Saguaro, no, can't do it. Saguaro, no. Let's just let it, I mean, I couldn't say spaghetti or hospital when I was little either, so it's not a surprise. This we have had, as you know, for a while. But coming up to Christmas and being on special, beautiful. Very nice. Temporary Christmas, again, pop it with white. Oh, here's the white here, sorry. Is it called white? It's called, wait, super white. Colour 100 in the Northcotes. It is a beautiful quality. The reason I couldn't find it yesterday, as I mentioned, we use it a lot for our foundation piecing in our Pintuck kits. put that together with a very nice piece of glass, fairy frost, and this to me is just beautiful because you've got those little frosted shiny green dots in this one down here as well. So this one's not on, these aren't on special, but the main feature print is. And the other one that I promised and I didn't, was to get you a pre-cut pack ready to go with this Drop Dead Gorgeous paisley. However, I found its ombre friend. Oh, this one's new. This came in today too. Butterflies. Oh, can't beat a Robert Kaufman butterfly print, can you? You just can't. You just, there's no point. There's no point trying to. Look at it. Full on gold, beautiful tonal leaf background. It's got this, hey, can you do this? Yeah, you can. Oh, I didn't notice that before. You can put these together. Yum. Yum, yum, yum. All right, so got the butterfly. I'm going to leave that there because I feel the need to do that and this on top. So this is the Warhol Get Your Sunglasses Out that we mentioned yesterday. Actually, I think it's so big that I need to put it on the overhead for you. I mean, it's got attitude. So what I said yesterday was that there isn't any, there's no shading in this. So what I mean is that it doesn't go from dark to light within different parts of the design. That means that I can go through for you, which I haven't done, and match it up perfectly to solids. So for example, it's not a perfect match, but I'm going to show you what I mean. So I can go through, actually that's actually not that bad. That's actually quite good. So I can go through and pull off solids that go with it, and I think a solid or an ombre is going to work. I'm not convinced a tonal will work. I want to see it with really, really strong colours. No, sorry, I'm looking at those other ones again. This one I just mentioned for the Sally Cat. Look, see, look, this isn't bad either. That's pulling that colour on. But I will go through and do a set. I did hesitate yesterday because I got 2 bolts of this, which I'm really glad I did. And I just stopped myself from doing, sort of moving forward and prioritising and spending the time to do the solids yesterday because it did get chewed up. So this is my second bolt. So, you know, I suppose I am waiting just a little bit to see, because if someone comes through and buys 4 meters today, there's not going to be anything left for me to put a pre-cut pack with. So I'll wait for the dust to settle tonight, and then if there is some left, I will do it. I just wanted to show you this with it. See ya? Don't mind that at all. That's yum. I do like that. That's really yum. Oh, now, hang on, that's a good question. Melissa's saying, could I put... Jill, oh, I love the way you all apologise for being late. It's so funny. Could use that sag in the log cabin wreath? Yes, Melissa, you could. Absolutely. You've got to get your... You know how we did when we did the show? You've got to get your combo right. And that fairy frost with that sag, with the white, perfect. Perfect. Would be really, really nice. And Diana, oh, we have to say it in Spanish. That would be why I can't say it. We'll have to talk and you'll have to teach me. Melissa, I'd also like the paisley in the log cabin as well. You know what I would do? I wouldn't use it in the log cabin, mate, because when we talked about, you sort of got to go quite small because, oh, I've taken it down now, but the strips are quite narrow. So you probably would be better to use it for a big feature board around the outside, and we would pull up 2 of the colours that are in the paisley to use for the log cabin and set it on a black background and then make this the big feature around the outside. That would be the best way to go. But it's all experimental. But yeah, anything that you want me to have a look at together to see if it works. Hello Jenny and Glennis and Joy and Tracy. I will just let me know and I can do it. Wouldn't it be fun to work out the most effective way to use an ombre in the log cabin too? Right, let's get this out of the way. The other two that I've popped up are just these beautiful, beautiful big, this beautiful big floral, and that's the, if I was a retro girl, which every now and then I think, I could be. I was watching Bargain Hunt last night, they had a special on retro clothing. This is, to me, it's almost got that retro botanical kind of dress print look about it with that little print. It's just beautiful. It is destined for a bag. Absolutely destined for a bag. And, I mean, this just, it's got such attitude, and I feel it, you know, every now and then you get those prints that you think, yep, you deserve to have something designed for you. And there's lots and lots of different flowers that are on these prints that we do cover off different applications of them in the Baltimore, in Manning Tree Garden, in the patterns that we've got there as well for different flowers. You know, there's hydrangeas and peonies and lilies and also and roses and lots of different things happening in there. And we sort of all tackle those in different ways with stitcheries and applique and things. So it's not going to be that hard to match them up. We actually have a beautiful red ombre that goes through to that real coral sort of pinky red as well, and I can just see them all working beautifully with it. Not today though, we have other things to do. Now, before the show, thanks Joy, before the show, Vinnie's. Actually, I think it's a Carolyn Morgan. It's Carolyn Morgan, which I wear a lot of, not necessarily from Vinnie's. What happens sometimes before a show and you know what you're going to do, and then you discover some major disaster with it or something that has been overlooked or whatever, and you go, oh, thank goodness I found it before the show. They'll never know. Not today. I discovered this about half an hour before the show. It can't be saved. I have to fess up, and it'll be a lovely evening this evening, writing little letters to people with some extra fabric, and that will be going to everyone who so far has ordered and had delivered their chrysanthemum blocks. I know how it happened, and on the initiative of all of those that were involved in the requirements list for the chrysanthemum flowers, including me, Emma and Steve, I can see how it's been done. And my saving grace, my only saving grace, is the flowers go on last. In fact, they go on probably after the whole quilt is quilted. Yes. So I am saved because I can get your extra yellows out in the mail and you'll have them early next week, and no one will be too grumpy with me. So can you use the word stuffed? You can, can't you? Facebook aren't going to shut us down for stuffed because you stuffed a cushion, stuffed the turkey, stuffed a pin cushion. So let me show you what's going on. So there's nothing wrong with the requirements list. If you're a Natasha girl, there's nothing wrong. It was me. It was all me and Steve and Emma. So this is our chrysanthemum block pattern that we're going to do today. This, for all intents purposes, is a further extension of what we did with the ginger block, and also when we started needle turning last month with our clematis block. So that's where we're heading today. Now, in the pattern, it tells you to cut from your darkest yellow. I'm just going to explain this now and just get it out of the way. From your darkest yellow, you're going to cut a piece that is 4 by 10. Now, what you need to remember with this pattern too is this pattern was written, invented by moi before ombres existed. And now, can do it with an ombre. But I really decided to leave this pre-piecing step in, because then I know it opens you up to lots and lots of different opportunities to try different things and also to use what's in your stash. So we're going to cut a dark bit from this dark yellow, and then you're going to cut 8, and I mean 8 2-inch by 10-inch strips from 2 different yellows. So when the pattern's been skimmed through and looked at what we needed, I can see how it's happened, because Steve's gone, yep, 2. He's going, yeah, 2 in strips, and then he's looked over at the diagram here and going, yeah, that's right. So we've only given you enough to cut 2 by 10-inch strips. You actually need 8. So for those of you that have already got yours, please don't panic. You've got all of your leaves and stems to do first. There's another person that doesn't know we're on Facebook, and I didn't mute the phone. You've got all of that to do first, and then by then I will have your extra bits that you need for your flowers. So you're not going to be held up at all. You can well and surely get started. And I know that no one, oh, Margaretha, you'd pick it. You would, because you're smart. You're the only one that's picked it so far. No one's rung me and said, I haven't got enough. So I'm kind of confident I haven't inconvenienced anyone yet, but I will send them through to you. So you'll get a nice little letter from me in the mail. I know who you all are. If you've ordered them in the last couple of days and you haven't had notification they've left yet, of course yours will be correct when you get them. So please don't worry. You don't need to notify us that you've got it missing. It's really easy for us now with our super duper new website to just, well, it's not new anymore, is it? It's a year old. With our website to pull up your orders, and I will get them out to you. Probably with the Prezi. Probably. Hello, Irma. Tinnicky, hi. Maureen's here. Hi, Del. Yeah, Margaretha, sorry about that. Hello, Cheryl, Julie, and Karen's here too. Fantastic. All right. So when you get to your flowers, and I want to do this first, and you cut all your pieces, this is what you're actually going to do. You're going to join them. Well, it can go that way or it can go the other way. I think the diagram's got it going the other way. I'm probably lefty because I'm lefty. You can go that way, or you can go that way. But you're going to stagger piece them, because having such a thing as an ombre or anything else to work with, I wanted you to be able to use 2 different fabrics so that you get a really lovely effect between a batik and a shimmer or a fairy frost here as you ruche up your flowers. So we're going to get this variation in colour like we've got on the one on the quilt, and then a darker one which is in the centre. So if you look at this, I want you to think about it another way, that if you had a strip of fabric that was all light purple and you put a dark purple on the end, then when you ruche it up you're going to get beautiful French lavender heads. So just think about it like that. I mean, if you look back at this fabric up here, if you wanted to ruche up something to mimic this, you would go for a light and a dark fuchsia pink. You could take this beautiful thing with this beautiful thing, and you could do strips of this together, or a plain and a metallic, and ruche them all up. You might have a whole heap of beautiful reds strips that are left over from making a log cabin or something, and they're all different shades or they're the same. Piece them up like this, and then you've got effectively your fabric that you can cut your strips on the bias from, which is what we're going to do. Now, back in the olden days, before ombres, and I came up with this concept, that's all fine. But if you're doing it from your stash, or you're going, oh, I don't want to do that, and you're going to do it, particularly if you're in, if you're in a quilter's life and you've got this pattern as part of your membership, there's your ombre. I've tagged it under today's banner. So we do have a beautiful yellow that goes from dark through to light, and then it does alternate on the other side. So, you know, if you bought half a metre of this, you'd be able to use it here for all of your petals and things, and you'll have ample left over. You'll want the half metre so that you get those beautiful long strips, but you'll have heaps left over that you can use for other things and keep in your stash. And again, if you want to do lavender, which I was talking about with the girls on a Quilter's Life yesterday, there's the lavender. So remember what I said, if you're a member. If you're not a member and you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a Quilter's Life. So this is our $10 a month club. And you get all of the Baltimore patterns in there. You get Madame Butterfly in there, demos, recipes, other stuff as well. You're also getting you'll have all the recipes and all the projects from the Chandler's Cottage 2023 calendar that's coming up. I mean, you might still want to buy the calendar with a special deal, but you'll have all of those. So we were talking about this yesterday, and I just offered to the girls if they wanted a little bit of this to play with for their Madame Butterfly quilt, I'll send it out for them. But you can just see, you know, just see this, be just gorgeous. Lavender or purple, flowers of any description. Okay, so when you've cut all of your strips with your pattern, you're then going to stagger them, and I've asked you to stagger them about 1.5 inches across. It feels weird as you're doing it, it really does, but every time you've sewn one on, then you come down 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. I did this very fast because there was a little bit of a hold up when I discovered that you didn't have enough fabric, so I did it very fast, which you will see when I turn it over. It's a bit higgledy-piggledy, rough and ready, but main thing too, please press your seams open. So I want you to stitch it with a nice short stitch for me, because we're going to press our seams open and then we're going to cut strips from it. So you're not going to want a big loose stitch, a nice tight one. You can see a little bit of a pucker in here. I made sure that my thread tension was quite taut on my Benina. So I think I set it at about 5.5 instead of the default of 5.25. Does that sound right, Louise? That's about right, I think. And then, you know, then I gave it a press. I set my seams, and then I stood and very, very quickly pressed them all open. And I have just realised that I have not brought my ironing. So I'm going to have to go and grab that in a minute. That phone's going to drive me nuts. I have to go and put it on silent. Okay, so now that we've got all of this done, let's do this, because you see what I'm doing? I've actually folded it in half like that, and I'm going to take a big leap of faith and hold my tongue between my teeth with a really, really nice sharp. It's in my office, Rob, I think. Okay. And would you grab me the iron while you're there? Thanks. Rob's working from home on a wet weather day. Yes. Right. So nice sharp blade, because remember you're going to be going through all of these little seams, and you can see purposely made sure I've got my creative grid ruler. You're a legend, thank you. I'm a bit worried that someone thinks there's something wrong because they keep ringing, but the message bank's working now, isn't it? Yes. It is. I'm confident it is. Okay, so through here, I think, I've been doing so much ruching, I'm going to check. Are they 2.5? Are they 2.5? 2, 2, 2, 2. 2. If you want big chunky ones, you could go 2.5, but we're going, it's a classic ruche 2. Oh, what a waste. Isn't that a waste? What are we going to do with it? I suppose we can use these little bits off here for our buds. What a waste. Okay. This is when I love this because I've got the grip, particularly when everything's, you know, pieced, I've got seams, everything's on the bias. It just doesn't move. I can't help myself, I have to tell you a secret. I can't help it, I have to tell you. I'm doing this, I have to, I can't help it. So, you know, when the kids were little and they all had advent calendars, I'm doing a quilter's advent calendar. It is consuming my life at the moment. So I'm doing advent calendars for quilters. I can't help myself. I'm useless at keeping secrets. So imagine me at the moment. I'm having so much fun, but it's so much work. So I'm sort of setting up, you're going to get this beautiful little package and you'll have 25 envelopes to open from the 1st of December. And everything in them is for a quilter. It's all on. Cass is working on the graphics for the envelopes and stuff at the moment. Can you imagine? I'm not doing many. When I say I'm not doing many, but whatever I do, it's times by 25. So it all started because of the flash copier when we worked out we could print onto envelopes. And well, not just because of that. It came up as a concept with my mate Vivian in England last year on Christmas morning while I was waiting in the queue at Sandy Hospital to get tested for COVID on Christmas morning. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I can't wait to show you. And it's just every time I cut something or I do something, it's just all about, is that going to be day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to Merry Christmas on 25. Anyway, and it's for you. It's not to give to someone, because if you give someone an advent, you've got to give it to them before the 1st of December. You can't give it to them as a present on the 25th, and that's why I keep saying I'm doing something for us or for you. So now I've told you I can concentrate. Oh, I can't wait. I'm going to iron this on this particular fabric because I don't want to mess it up. But you can imagine me, 25 little presents I'm working all at once. Oh, hang on, what? I couldn't resist the lovely new Kaufman. Maybe you can combine it. Of course, Errol, absolutely. Combine postage, fine, because you asked me to hold. I've got yours there. Not a problem. Yeah, it's all there ready, so I didn't do anything from yesterday. Well, I did, it's cut, but they're all sitting there waiting to combo. Right, so now we want to iron this in. So you see what I mean? It's really important that these seams are open or it's just going to be too chunky. Okay, and you'll want a nice hot steam iron for this bit, and a little bit of starch if you want to. You'll have to go just a little bit slower and a little bit with a little bit more care than what we usually do. And there's no chocolate, okay? It's all fabric and patterns and kits and treasures and trinkets, and oh my god, I'm having so much fun doing it. Yeah, that's just one thing. Between that and the calendar and the soiree, whoa! But it is only October, so there's a long way to go yet. Elizabeth, absolutely. It's a good excuse, isn't it? This is how I get my bolts ironed and looking nice for a show at the same time. Here we go. So even more than our normal bias strips, these will start to lift after a while. So if you do get them ready ahead of time, just wrap them around a little bit of cardboard and just hold them with a pin so that they don't pop out of shape again. Okay, so now this is ready for you to ruche up, just like we have done just like we've done previously for the ginger block. Okay, so you can see you've got all those different little shades of colour in there, and I will ruche that up into a, oh, I thought Rob got that. I will ruche that up into my circular bit. I think what I will do to get this ready to, there must be someone really desperate to get hold of us. Just a tip, I'm going to take it off the hook. Oh, you turned it off. Lovely, what did you do with the phone? Turn it off, just put it on so it can engage. Don't bring it back down here. Just push it so it's on, and then it will go straight to message bank. But please take it with you. Right, so what we will do now though, instead of actually taking that great big bit and getting this ruche, because this will actually take a bit of time, I'm going to cut a bit from one of these ombres to show you, because it'll just be a little bit quicker, but then I can show you how this one comes up as well. Just move that out of the way. So what will happen with these is that you need to actually spiral them, okay, and then tack them down onto a scrap bit underneath. That's why I said there was so much to get through in today's show. But I'll get a little bit here done so that we can do one. With the buds that are on the chrysanthemum block, I would use polyfuse like we have previously done to pre-shape them, because they are quite small pieces in here. But now that you've got the hang of the polyfuse, that would be my choice to get them shaped quickly. Otherwise, a needle turn like we did last month, okay? But they are quite small. Back to the bolt, Elizabeth. Back to the bolt. I'll just quickly iron this one over. I just decided to do this one instead of doing my pre-pieced one, because it's going to be quicker for me to show you the ruche again and how it's going to start to curve, and also because my thimbles AWOL. Both my thimbles are AWOL. I saw it this morning, but for me to get through those seams, I'm just looking after my the ends of my fingers because they've got so much work to do. Okay, I'm going to use a colour that contrasts so that you can see it and that I can see it if I actually put my glasses on. Put them off, make a mess of the hair. There we go. Alright, then you and I can get up close and personal and do this. Move that out of the way. Okay. So you just want a nice, remember, you just want a nice strong piecing needle. Wind round, pull that through for my knot. And then we need to mark this up. So remember that if they are 2 inches, and then you fold it in, you're down to 1 inch, then you'll want to mark at 1 inch intervals. So that's all in the pattern for you. Mark at 1 inch intervals, and then in the middle on the other side. So you're set up for your zigzag. So we'll just do that little bit to get started. And then we start our running stitch across, remembering to stop just before the fold on the top or on the bottom, so that when we pull our thread through, oh, without a knot, thank you very much. What happened there? That was all a little bit of a malfunction, wasn't it? Try that again. There we go. So we stop before the fold, top or bottom, pull all the way through, then turn round, and you want to go in. I stopped underneath last time, so I now want to start on the top so that I end up with a loop of my thread over the edge of the fold, and that helps you pull up a lovely tight ruche. Get off. Alright, so like that, and then we'll pull, and that will pull it up really nice and tight. So when we had done our full ginger ruched spike for our ginger block, we tacked it straight onto the block, just tucked under the ends. One of them went under a leaf, and the other one we tucked the end under so it was concealed. What's going to happen this time is we're actually going to tack the ruched fabric strip in a spiral fashion onto a scrap bit of fabric, and we use the same fabric that we have used for the ruching, so that if there's any little gaps, you really can't see them because it's the same colour. Now with yours, if you're doing them with the 3 fabrics that I've suggested, you'll have enough left over on one of those little corners or something like that, that paste bit that we had that I cut from. So where's a bit? So you know, you'll have corners like this that you can ruche onto, or you can just use a scrap bit of cream if you don't want to waste one of your yellows. But you want to ruche onto something that, you know, is not purple or red. You don't want a contrast underneath. And it's just really great because then you can actually complete the whole flower and pop it aside in your little Oriental Baltimore box, safe and sound, to sew onto the quilt later. I love putting these on later because then, you know, it's not getting in the way while I'm quilting. It's not sort of determining where I quilt, because even with a darning foot, you really can't get in super close to the flowers, so I just love to quilt the blocks first and then put them on. So I'm just going to do one more of these, and then I'm going to finish it off, and I'm just going to show you how to start off the center of your ruched flowers, your chrysanthemums. So I'm just going to pop back through here, and I'm just going to check that no one is asking me a question. There we go. Sue did. How long was the original strip? When you actually come to do these, Sue, I don't start with anything under 20 inches. So it doesn't mean that you know, if you buy 1/2 metre, you're actually going to end up with something even longer than that, because when you cut on the diagonal, it's a much wider width. So you really want 20 to start with. Now these ones that I did, Sue's are, see, look at him popping out already, that's just rude. These are, yeah, so these are huge, these are 32. So I'm going to have heaps, and I will start at the dark end so that I've got that done for the center. So I've just finished this off. Karen DeWalt says, I'm late, I'm going back to the start. It's so funny. Oh, Elizabeth's just done her cranes with Natasha. Yeah, the cranes are good fun, so we'll be back doing the cranes next year. Good afternoon, Marie Evans. Nancy says, the Hume Freeway is a car park north of Melbourne. Not sure how far. Hazel, hi. Lynn, hi. Hello, Michelle. Oh, that is a worry. Okay. Sue says, I forgot there were 2 or 3 new Kaufmans. I know. It sort of tell you what, sometimes I feel like it rains when it pours, but I've got some other gorgeous stuff for you on the weekend. It arrived today too. For me, it's like a panic buy because I wanted us to have some reasonably priced fabric, and as I mentioned, fabrics are all going through the roof now. It's kind of caught up. So, you know, if we want to be able to buy fabrics that aren't mine, that are new, they're coming in at $30 a metre, girls. So I sort of have done a little bit of a buy up so that that doesn't affect us as much for now. It's very scary, very scary. All right. In the middle of a piece of fabric here. That's why we're going to work on stash busting next year. We're going to work on techniques and applique and clubs, because then we can use our stashes next year and just focus on design and patterns and things. I think that might be good for all of us to use our stashes up. I've come up through the folds, in the deep folds here, in the middle of my scrap bit of fabric, and I'm going to tack down again. I'm not worrying about hiding the raw edge on the end of my strip, because once I've got a couple of these little tacking stitches in to secure it down, I'm going to start twisting or turning my ruche, and it will turn really well because we've ruched it up and we had our strips cut on the bias, so it's going to be able to turn like that. So I start turning really quite tightly straight away, and just use little tacking stitches. Doesn't have to be a lot for now. I can always come back and add more later. But you can see what I mean. I can get it really, really tight and round, and to the point where when that ruche comes back round, it's going to hide where I started. So this is what you're going to do, and you're just going to keep going round and round with your ruching. And as you go, you can pop your, see that? You can pop your flowers on the top. Sorry, you can pop your ruching over the top of the ones from before, or you can tuck it underneath. Now, I'm going to leave you again because I have remembered I have some prepped next door that I want to show you. So hold on 2 seconds. I'll just go and grab them. People will be hopping on now going, where's she gone? There's no one there. Okay. These are two that I have done for another project. So you can see those there. So you just keep going round and round and round onto your scrap bit of fabric. Now, when you've finished, what you can actually do, don't cut off all that scrap stuff underneath. What I do is I actually tuck it up all underneath, and as I'm tacking more of these little folds down as I go, I'm tacking through that extra bit at the back, and I love that because it makes it really nice and solid, and it almost starts to sort of pad it out a little bit as well. So that's one example, and the other one, they're in the other room, but for my Quilters Life girls, you've already done this as well for your bonsai block. So you can see here we've done it a different way. Instead of spiraling them all round, the members are doing them this way, so they're going back and forth to create our little bonsai pot and foliage as well. So there's lots and lots of different applications for it, but that's how you're going to start off. Keep going out to the size that you'll want, and yours will look absolutely gorgeous because you'll have your dark yellow in the middle, and then you'll have these varying yellows around the outside.
I've lost sound.
Have you? Well, I don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know why you've lost sound. I have plenty of sound.
All right.
Don't panic me, Rob. I don't know. Anyway, so that's that bit. So get started with those, and you've got your beautiful long paste bits to make up, and I think you're really going to enjoy that. Looks like a wedding dress for the day. No, Marie, it's not. I know where you're going. It's actually not. Thank you, Diana. It's not from the wedding dress. That's actually natural fairy frost. So I told Maria I was thinking about cutting up my wedding dress and using all of the taffeta silk to embellish a denim jacket to wear. You know, midlife crisis jacket, that kind of thing. I think it will happen. I think it will happen. It's sitting on the floor over there. So maybe next year, or it might be a good summertime project to do. All right. We also need to talk about doing really lovely fine stems. And we did this last time, and when we did it, we looked at actually doing a running stitch to hold down the stem that's been cut on the bias, the right side down. That's what we did with our clematis block. And then we flipped the stem fabric up and over and slip stitch it down on the other side. Let's shortcut that just a little bit with these ones for our chrysanthemum block, because they are super thin, these ones. So the other way that we can do it, I thought I had grabbed a bit out of Madame Butterfly, so I didn't have to cut into a kit. So let's cut ourselves some really, really nice fine strips off here. About, I know I've written in the pattern, about 1/2 inch. So we're talking super fine. Go. I'm being very formal here with you, cutting it up like this. If I was sitting on the couch, I'd probably just freestyle cut it with a pair of scissors. I'll be brutally honest, because as long as it's roughly the right shape, you know, if you don't want it to be super smooth, then you'll be fine. When you transfer your pattern onto your block, if you do want very uniform shaped stems, like these ones that are on here, then do mark in each side, okay? I'm not that fussed this time around to show you, but you've actually got to, a bit closer for you. You've actually got, you know, the parallel lines actually drawn on there. So if you want to do that, you know, go ahead and do it. It's really going to be up to you if you want them to be a little bit more botanical or whether you want them to be quite stylized. So that's going to be your choice. So we need to, this time, we're going to take a shortcut. And this time round, we're actually going to, on cue, there's the iron. We're going to burn our fingers, basically, and iron over. You ready? Iron over one side. So if you're watching for the first time and you think that there are some weird and wonderful sound effects on set, that's actually Geraldine, Franny and Penny outside my window, because they can hear me, and they are our Highline brown chickens who lay us beautiful eggs every day, and who are collecting eggs at the moment to make lots of cakes for our calendar, and then there'll be further soiree as well. So now we've got this done. So I've got a super fine little strip, and I've ironed under about 1/8 of an inch on there. Alright, so I'll pop that there, and then we've got, thought I had a piece here. I've got one piece here to use, and this is my scrap bit. It's not one of the ones out of one of your kits, I promise, of Black Magic. I had a whole heap of more Black Magic arrive today, our black that we get from North Maywood. I don't know if it ran out. I know it on the website, I know it got really low, but it's back in, and it's, if it did hit 0, I'm sorry, but I've uploaded it, it's back in stock. I'm going to draw a curve on so that I can show you this technique. But if you are transferring your pattern on, if you're on a light background, you'll have your light box. If not, you'll have your transfer paper. I'm using, I've got this bit here at the moment. I'm using, folks, because I'm down. This is what we have on the website, right? And we're down to about 4 or 5 packs, and that makes me nervous because I've had it on back order from the States for quite a while and it's not in stock yet. So I'm not using this good one. I've left my packs at mine's at Margaret's. I've left it somewhere at Marg's. I don't know where. I had them with me, so, or I can't find it since I got back. So instead of opening a new pack, I'm just using this, which was one that I used to use years ago. I don't like it as much as this one now because it's quite thick. I love this stuff. But if you haven't used this sort of thing before, you pop it down. It's just like using carbon paper in the old days. So you just pop it down and you draw over the top. So if I'm just going to draw one of these curves on. Like that. And it's transferred the design on. I'm not sure that you can see that because it's quite pale. Let me look. For all intents and purposes, it is there. I promise it's there. I'll hold it up for you and you can see it. No. Oh my goodness, you can't see it. I can see it. I'll just go over it with my chalk pencil. Can you see that? There you go. There it is. All right. So with this, I will slip stitch down one side and that will give me like a ledge, and because it's cut on the bias I'm going to get my nice curve. So, oh, Therese Parry, if you're watching, I don't know if you are here. Therese asked me to get in some little house applique pins, and we have the Clover ones, which are fantastic. I have nothing with me in the studio, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. She asked me to get them in because she likes the little house ones, and I said fine, and they also arrived today, so I will get them uploaded onto the website. They are the blue and yellow super small ones as opposed to the white ones, which are Clover. It's just a personal preference thing. There's probably a real cute factor to the little house ones because they come in a little box, or they come in the cutest of little bottles, and I may or may not have ordered them in red, green and white for Christmas. Now, so it's going to be personal preference for you again, whether you glue down. Just don't go overboard with the glue for me because you've got to be able to sew through it, all right? So you can go with glue, or you can go with just holding it in place with some little pins, and then you can, if you want to, tack it down. In terms of needles for this stuff, if you haven't watched before, applique needles is where you want to be at. So if you haven't done a lot of applique before, start with a larger size to start with. So you'd start probably with the Clover ones at a 9 or a 10, and then when you get a little bit more active, you can handle it with your eyesight, drop down to a 12. So the larger the number, the smaller they go, right? So these are beautiful. I love them because of the gold eye on them to see, and also I love them because they have a really nice bendable tactile strength. What you say, Suze? I'm cheating by fusing my stems down so much faster. Appliques looks better, but yes, I know. Well, you see, you can do all of it if you wanted to. Raw edge applique with batiks, you know, on the machine. It's going to be up to everyone how they want to do it. I'm treating myself today to a new pack of 12s because it's been a long time since I have done it. So I love a new pack. Now, and then in terms of threads, if you are working by hand, I did go and have a look for you color-wise because I know some people are collecting as they get their kits. So the two greens, or the two colors I'd recommend in the Afina Wonderfill that we have for the greens that are in your packs, which are these two. Beautiful. You've got Herb and Lizard, which are just lovely, and they are the same as the originals that are in the quilt. So I've gone for, and I've put them under the banner, number 15. So this is just slightly paler than Herb, and that's a good thing because I know you're going to be able to use it next month. Sorry, I'm twisting on you, on your bonsai block as well. And then I'm also using number 1. Now number 1's more of a taupe, but it blends beautifully with lizard, and again you're going to be able to use it for other ones and a whole heap of stuff. So these are the 2 that I think are great. If you have, of course, your soft collection of super bobs in here, you're going to find everything that you need as well. So if you've got one of these, which are great value, look at mine, it's been destroyed, I've pulled them out, it's very naughty, I need to put them all back in, I know where they are, but you're going to find 2 perfect colours in here in your soft collection to use anyway, so you've already got it. So I'm not going to open those because I've already got mine in here to use. Robert, it's because Robert's home today. He offered me half of his fried rice for lunch, and I'm really regretting it now because I'm so worried any minute my stomach's going to rumble on live on Facebook. So I'm just going, if I say, oh, that's thunder, just, I'm sitting here going, no, don't do it, don't do it, and I'm scoffing the tea so that it doesn't. All right, again, we'll just do a little knot. I swear now I've said it, it'll do it. And we'll slip stitch down. Shall I cut this excess bit off because that's just going to get in my way for now. When you have a look also at the little buds that are on the quilt, I would do them pre-shaping with sandpaper like we do Suffolk puffs and circles, all those sorts of things, all right, because they are just a little oval shape. I mean, you can needle turn them if you want to, but I would definitely do that. Denise, I don't, sorry, that's a really good question. Can the reels be replaced? The reels themselves I wouldn't replace. What I would do when they run out would be to actually buy a feiner and wind on a feiner onto the bobbins because they're plastic. So good question. It's because they're plastic. So you can just you can just keep them and wind on more thread of whatever you want to keep in your box, particularly with your creams and blacks that you're going to go through, or your taupes, greys, you're going to go through a lot of. So I've come up, I've got to get it close and personal. Come up on the fold, there's my needle there. Oh, and it came off. That's just not funny, is it? I didn't stick it down well enough. Okay, so then travel along, pop your needle straight back down into the background, travel along underneath, bring up your needle again on the fold, and pull it nice and tight. Now we have done this so you can have a look back through on the Leesa Chandler YouTube channel, or have a look back through Facebook at last month's. The birds outside are going nuts, which means Ginny's out there. If someone has been foolish enough to nest in the lemon tree, that is at their own peril. So I'm just doing a little bit of slip stitching down this side that we have already folded over, and you can see this is going to be super quick. How am I doing? There we go. Alright, I'll do a couple more. Then so up to there. Okay, so I've got up to there done. So I'll hold that round for you. You can see that there, and if we flip it over to the back, all of my stitches are on the back. Right, so they're all there. So there's nothing showing on the front, which is what you want. Let's finish this here. It's going to be like watching paint dry otherwise. Take that off. And then I'll grab a new knot and have another look at it. So Now we've got, you know, this really, if you like, for want of a better word, secure ledge. And because we only folded over 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, I'm going to be able to tuck all of that excess up underneath and slip stitch it down. I can do that, or I can trim a bit off. Now, if I trim off another 1/8, then I'm literally down to, you see that, just over 1/4 of an inch that's still there to work with. And that will, if you haven't done this a lot before, that's going to be a lot easier for you to tuck under. That thumb, you cannot underestimate your non-writing hand thumbnail. It's really, really important to hold it down. So now that I've got that under, I'll take my needle underneath. Heavens! It's like I'm in the aviary at the gardens. Okay, and then we can slip stitch down the other side. So same as what we were doing before, but we're using our needle to tuck underneath all that excess. This, I've really gone to town here to prove a point, but this is super thin. It's thinner than the one on the quilt because I'm not being good and following the line that I had drawn on. Mostly because I'm sort of pointing my work away from me so I can show you. That's how thin I've got that bit there. See, super thin. And again, all of it's on the back. So if I pop you back on the overhead camera and I lay this out, you can see what we've actually managed to do. So that's the actual strip that we started with. Okay, so that's what we said, 1/2 inch. Then we folded that over and we slip stitched it down up to here, and then we trimmed away, and now I've managed to get us down to that. And if I measured that, that is 1/16 of an inch wide. I'll hold it up for you. Now, I'm not saying that you have to go that small, but you can see how narrow that you can get it. And it's just, and you know, it's not just about the technique, it's about the fabric. This sort of work, to do it with confidence, without feeling a swear jar, without, you know, getting really angry and frustrated, and being able to do it quite quickly. I don't know if Rob's listening, but if you are, Robbie, can you please come and shoo the birds from outside the studio window because they're trying to make a point. You know, I don't want to do it with another fabric. I want to do it with a batik or really good high quality fabric, because then it's not going to fray. Just a minute, let me just see what's outside the window. Hey Rob, that way. Thanks. So, the other thing, do you remember when I mentioned as well about using water? So if you do find that it's starting to fray on you just a little bit, then just a little dab of water with a Q-tip or a cotton bud. I said Q-tip, do you know that from my American friends? A Q-tip or a cotton bud, and that just makes everything kind of stick, and it's like when you've got a wet jumper, and it will behave and it will stay where it's supposed to. So just remember that little tip as well to get it. So I'm quite, you know, I'll show you again so you can see how small it is. Alright, so that's going to cover you off. Use that technique to do all of these stems that are up here. And then when you get to these, I would definitely do those with pre-shaping. And then these little bits that are on the ends of your chrysanthemums, on the buds, I would do those. I should note the pattern does tell you that technique that we've used before to sew those thin stems down and then flip them over. So I'm giving you the shortcut. Alright, so these ones here, these are the ones here. I would definitely do those with Polyfuse or what we've done before for that first step of our cherry blossoms, where we pull it in over sandpaper. So you can do that little technique again and make that little template out of sandpaper and do that pre-shaping and pull it in. Keep it really, you won't want your seam allowance too big, but pull that in, that'll give you a pre-shape. Press it really well with your iron, and then you'll just be able to slip stitch it on over the top of these little buds that are here. With your leaves, you're going to needle turn them the same as we did these ones last month, or you can bag them out like we did these ones down here, or you can pre-shape them with Polyfuse, which we've done down here as well. So you've got did we do it down here? We did it up here, sorry. So you've got lots of different options of the techniques that you can use to get all those shapes done. Fun, fun, fun. Now, I apologise for the complete faux pas with the yellows. I will definitely get those all out in the mail to you in the next 72 hours. Oh, Elizabeth says, I found your tip on a Q-tip and water to make a stray thread yield. I was going nuts on a leaf. Oh, good. Good, good, good. I'm glad you found it. Hello, Yolanda. How are you? We've said hello, haven't we? We did. I can't remember. Sorry. You've got that. So yes, you can replace. I would just wind more stuff on. You know, and to that end, you know, these containers will take small bobbins, not the big ones like we get in the bananas now, but any size bobbin in them, so you can pop anything in there. Even if you've got some metal ones or something that you've got threads on, it's just a really handy container to hold them in. Next month, we're going all green. So we're going to do our bonsai next month, and that's probably because it's got another technique in it that I want to cover off, and I want to do it in this one before we do the wisteria. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are coming up. So we've got the bonsai, then we're going to do our iris blocks, then we're going to do our poppy blocks, and then we're going to finish off with the wisteria down the bottom. So I give up. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They can hear me. So this one's going to be really lovely, and for my girls that are doing, the girls that are in the course life that are doing Madame Butterfly at the moment, you're probably going to kill me because you're going to go, not more bonsai, but this one's very different because we've got, instead of ruching, we're doing 3D leaves on here. We'll do pre-shaping with our Polyfuse, and for up here, so there's just a slightly different 3D techniques happening again with this one next month. All right, so I feel like taking Geraldine back and saying to Kev, can I have a less vocal chicken? Oh, sweet, I've just seen, I couldn't remember where we'd put the binding for the wreath, and I've just seen it hanging over there. I was to the point of remaking it again. I had these on the floor as well. Mum came down and she actually complained, oh, look, this is my new basket, and it's still got its tag on the side. She complained that I only got 9. Like, I'm supposed to have, you know, custom made remnants for her to pack off. So I'm sorry about that. But I've just popped these up. So these are fresh ones that Mum brought down. So I think I've got about 9 new Pam's Creative packs. And if you haven't seen these before, these are the ends of our bolts, or when we've been cutting kits and we have bits left over. My mum, Pam, takes these and turns them into these beautiful look at that, compilation packs. And so it is a lucky dip, and they're $12 each, and you well and truly get over $12 worth of fabric. But they're like a little Sudoku in fabric for the brain, and a lot of people love getting them because it really makes you get creative to make something out of them, and a lot of people just love them to add to their stash for English paper piecing and things like that as well. So there you go. So now I've blabbed about the advent calendar. Margaret's going to tell me off, but I'm really excited. So I will keep working on that, and I'll be able to start showing you little bits and pieces of it, and then we'll start taking pre-orders for those in a couple of weeks' time, because I need to make sure that you all have them by the end of November, and we'll be taking them to the soiree as well. So I'll keep working on those. I'll dream about what we're going to make with these. I will get pre-cuts done. You've got specials, and I'll start filling specials orders tomorrow. And I'm going to be back with you on the weekend. I've probably said a couple of different times because there's just so much fabric down the other end to unpack. And you know what? I'm not going to say it anymore. I will get back to you and I'll pop it up as an event, because I feel like it'd be really nice to have all of these super special fabrics, because they will be on special. They're ones that we've brought in from a distributor. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just kind of like end of season ones, and we're sort of getting them in quick before all the massive price rises that are coming through. So I want to get all those loaded up, and I feel like it might be nice to bring those back and talk to you mid quilting on this. So I will just have a look at what's there and work out how long it's going to take, and see if Steve's coming over this weekend, and then we'll get that up. But I'll definitely be back over the weekend for you. So, and then you've got Ode to Joy's on special, Sally Kelly, the beautiful Benedicts as well. All right. And remember, if you've ordered your chrysanthemum, please don't worry. If it hasn't left yet, it will be correct, and you don't need to let me know if you've got one that's a bit short on yellow, because I know who you are. And I will fix it up for you and send out more while you're doing your leaves and your stems. Now, if you've got any questions at all, oh no, I've just seen what Gay's written, and I'm dying. Yeah, if you've got any, you've seen what her chicken's called. No, you can't call a chicken schnitzel, Gay. That's just wrong on so many levels. What have you got? Schnitzel, stir fry. Never mind. No, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Thank you, Diana. If you've got any questions at all, please remember to email me at info@chandlerscottage.com. I'm not doing what Jonathan told me to do yesterday, which is the telesally bit quiet, but you know where to find us at chandlerscottage.com. Hi Louise, hi Barbara, schnitzel, chooks and birds, and we don't even live in the country yet, so we're not even there yet. Thank you, Rhonda, thanks Yolanda. Oh, what's Elizabeth say? I use a floor frame with your blocks, my hands don't grip well. Oh, that sounds like a brilliant idea. Glad to hear it, good. Denise, all good. All right, everyone, I hope that's enough to go on with for now, because it's lots and you've got lots to work on. Enjoy the rest of the day. Please stay dry. I hope you don't have any leaks in your house. I hope you don't have any leaks in your garage. I hope you don't have a sloping driveway that doesn't have a good, I'm just thinking about all our previous houses, that doesn't have a good storm drain at the bottom of the driveway. Had one of those before. I hope you got good gum boots, a kayak, a jet ski, whatever's needed, lots of sandbags, all of that, and look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of the day, and today's Thursday, so I will see you on the weekend. Oh, a top tip, next week the show can't be Tuesday again. We've got stuff on. It will be Wednesday next week, but again, I'll see you on the weekend. All right, bye bye everybody. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.